Hey, Jenny, can you hear me? If you can, chat something. Jenny, as soon as you can hear me, go ahead and chat something. Chat hello in the chats. Jenny, can you hear me? Excellent. All right, can you remind me, did we bring you into the Hangout last time, and were you able to do that successfully? If so, we will do that again. Okay. All right. Well, can you remind me of your church's website? I feel like I should remember it, but I don't. It's been too many weeks. Salem UMC. Okay. It's looking pretty good. All right, let me share my screen with you. All right, what questions do you have for me today? Biggest question. I'm ready for it. Okay. This one right here. Let's take a look and see how you have it set up. So that bottom stuff is on your footer page. Okay, and here's your contact form. And here's where you put the email that you want it to go to. Oh, everything's showing up blurry. Let's see if this helps. How about now? Is that less blurry? And the blurriness, if the size isn't the issue, then it might be the connection speed. Oh, that's not any better? Okay. All right. So anyway, in the contact form module, the email that you put in there is the email address that you want it to go to. I will say one thing about this. Yeah, okay. So I went to pages, and then I looked for the page called footer. I'll back up and show you again. The page that's called footer is this stuff down here. That's where this information is contained. That's actually not the default way that Divi handles it. We actually added that as a hack because we thought it was easier for people to work with. And then once I'm in that footer page, I found your contact form, which is right here. So I click on that, and here's all your contact form settings. And then email is the email address that should be sent to. If you don't have an email address in there, it uses the admin email for your entire site. So whatever the main email address is. Oh, sure. Okay, so when you're on your dashboard, let me go back to your main dashboard. So this is your main dashboard. I'll have a few things that you don't, but you should have everything that you need. Dismiss these error messages. Okay. And then pages is what you want. And then all pages, or just hit pages and it'll go there. And then footer is like the 5th or 6th one down. And then I edit that. Are you with me now? If you want to remember the easy way to get to your dashboard, it's when you're on your site, just hit this link right here. This link in the top, or actually, sorry, this link, I'm sorry. The one that says Salem United Methodist Church. If you click on that, it toggles between your dashboard and your homepage. So if you're on your homepage and you hit it, it'll take it to your dashboard. And if you're on your dashboard and you hit it, it will take you to your homepage. And this little icon here stands for dashboard. Right. That's correct. Only one of us can edit it at a time to make sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes. Okay. All right. There's one other thing I want to say about putting this email address in here. So if you're doing a test, you want to make sure that your form works. And you are listing the same email address that you're sending to. It won't work with some services. So say you wanted to send to Jen Riley at riley.com. But the email address that you put in the form that you're sending from is also jen at riley.com. If you're doing that in Gmail in particular, it won't work because it's like a circular loop. It's duplicated, so it won't even send. So just your from email address needs to be different than the one that it's going to. And actually, it needs to be different from your admin email address too. So if your main email address from the site is jen@riley.com, I'm trying to think of what will trip it up. Okay, all right, excellent. Then it should work. Okay. All right, so let's go to the second part of your question. So how do I add an email link to each staff? Yep. All right, so let's go look at your staff page. If you've made any changes to this page, go ahead and save them now, because I'll be getting into it in a second. I like the red. It's taking a while for the page to load. Okay. Okay, so you put your pastor up top. All right, let me read your question more closely. How do I add an email link to each staff? Can I condense wording for each staff and have the words more to link to more details? Is there a better way to make it less wordy? There would be, and how would we add sermons as well as newsletters, adding a header to upcoming events page? Okay. All right, well, let's start one at a time. How do you add email links to two different guys, and can you add a more link? So there are a lot of sites that are starting to have really slick functionality, especially news sites, where if you hit a more, it will show you more information right on that same page. That's not something that WordPress has really figured out yet, which is strange. You would think they would have figured out. There is a way to have it, if you want to have more information about a person, you can have it you can make their own page for them, and then you can have a button that just goes to that page from their individual listing, is a way to do it. There are a couple other ways you could do it too, but I think that would be the easiest to implement. Okay. So I see that you've used images and text for all of your guys instead of using the person module, which is fine. I might, however, recommend that since you're trying to feature pastor up here by himself, that maybe you do something like this. So that his, let's see what that does. And so now he's featured a little more. Come up with an image that's bigger. This is a pretty small image. If you came up with a bigger image, it would fill up this space more. And then he would really look like he's featured, because he would have this whole line to himself. Okay. Okay, so how do you add an email address? Okay, so say you want to add an email address for David Green. Do you have his email address? What is it? Let me just do the actual one. And if you just want to just get your camera phone out and take impromptu shots of them until you get directory pics. I'd recommend doing that. A lot of churches try to use informal pics for their staffs now instead of being so formal, but it just kind of depends on the character of your church. If you have a very formal church, then maybe that wouldn't be appropriate. Okay, well, we'll do a test on yours then. Okay, so I'm going to do email. Or do you just want to do it on your, here, let's see. Are one of these for you? Okay, right here. Okay. All right, so let's go down and find yours. By the way, if you want to make these easy to find when you're working on them, you can change the admin label. So let's see. It's usually down towards the bottom. You could say Jenny's pick. And now when I'm looking at all the elements, I see that it's Jenny's pick, so it makes it a little easier to find. Okay. All right, yeah, so let's do email Jenny. And so how do you add an email link? Well, you want to highlight it, and then you want to hit Insert Edit Link. And you want to use a special type of link called a mail to. And it looks like that. You just basically put mail to colon. Okay, your connection must be really slow if you're blurry and you can't hear me. It's okay. You're the only person on, so I'll just be patient. Let me know when you get... We'll wait until it comes back. Hey, in the meantime, while you can't hear me, I will blow my nose. Whoa. Hey, excellent. Hopefully you didn't have to hear me blow my nose. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So you type in the text you want, and then you highlight it. And then you click the Insert Edit Link, and this little box here shows up. And we're going to create what's called a mail to link. MAILTO colon. And then after that, you put the email address. So Jenny Salem at bellsouth.net. And then you hit this little arrow to apply it. And now it's a link. So let's preview it and see what it looks like. And if you want, you can put that link like maybe up here higher so that it's easier for people to find. Okay. Okay. So now when I click on email Jenny, what it's going to do is it's going to access the default email program for my computer, which is Gmail. And then it's just going to put your email address in send. There are a couple things about using this approach. One is if you put your email address on your website, then bots that like to skim email addresses may pick it up, and then you'll get more junk email. It may not be that bad. It may be worth it, and your junk filters may be really good at just sorting it out, and you may never notice it. But that's just one thing. A lot of ways people do it is they put in a contact form, and in that form, they let people choose the staff person they want to contact, and then they have the form send the email. That way, people never see your email addresses. That's a more sophisticated solution, but you do have the capabilities to set it up, and I could show you how to do that. In the meantime, you might just want to try the mail to approach and see if that works for you. Okay, so that was the second question. So I'm so happy that you prepared your questions. Can I consider, okay, so I answered that with the more. All right, so you want to have, you want to do a more, where they hit a more button. So what you could do is just, you could make a link that's like read more, and or sometimes you see it like this, read more, dot, 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 dot. You could highlight that, and you could insert edit link. Which for some reason is not happening. Oh, it did happen. Okay, I was too fast for it. And then you could actually just do this. You could create a page called, you know, Jenny Riley, and then that's how simple the link. You don't need the whole. It's not letting you click on the email link I created. I think it's because I haven't saved it yet. So you're still seeing the old version. I haven't saved this page since we've made any changes, Jenny. When I was showing it to you earlier, I was using preview mode, which you can actually get into preview mode while I'm editing the page by trying to edit the page, and one of the three options will be preview, I think. But once I save it, you'll be able to edit the changes that I make. Anyway, if you created a new page called Jenny Riley, you could just create a link, and then that would go to that new page, Jenny Riley. So people wanted to know more information about you, they could go to that page and learn about it. There really isn't a great way to have it dynamically show up on the screen. Okay. It's a very advanced feature. And there are ways to do that in WordPress. There are third-party solutions, but it's not something that's very common. So it's not something that we've added to Aboundant. Yeah. Okay, let me save this change so you can actually get at it. Okay. And there might be another way. You could also experiment with using the toggle section. So the toggle section, learn more, learn more text. I'll preview this and show you what it looks like. So the toggle section kind of looks like this, and when you click on it, it shows you more information about a person. So that's kind of a way to hide it's similar to the functionality that you're talking about. It's just inside this box. Okay. anyway, just letting you know that that's another option. All right, let's take a look at your next question. Sermons as well as newsletters, adding a heading to the upcoming events page. Okay, let me talk about sermons and newsletters last. And add a heading to the upcoming events page. That one may be easier. I guess I had your site open still here. Okay. Okay, let's edit this page. Man, I think when we oh, it's because you made this as a post instead of a page. I think. Let's see. No, you made it as a page. I'm not sure what I was thinking. All right. Okay, so this is your current page. I was thinking sometimes, I think we're about to do an update on Divi. And I think that when we do, there'll be an option over here that lets you, that says show title. And that'll be one way that you could do this. You could just toggle that on to show title. It's going to be later this week that we put it in, actually. We just finished testing it and staging. And so you'll have it there. But in the meantime, and really the other way that you can do it and actually get more control over what's in the title, well, you can do a couple things. So you can use the title. There's actually a page title module. I skipped it. Where is it? It's is it post? No. There it is. Post title. Okay. So the post title has all these cool options. Like, if you wanted to show the title, if you wanted to show the metadata is like the author, the dates, and the categories. If you wanted to show the featured image, you can do all that stuff. My guess is you just want to show the title. And so I turned off the featured image, I turned off all the metadata, and now it's just going to show the title. And now it says upcoming events at the top. Oh, you want it like the staff page. Okay. Let me remind myself what the staff page looks like. Oh, you want it like that. Okay. All right, well, hold on. So let me edit your staff page again, and we'll see. I'm gonna take it over. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a handy trick. You can basically save this section to the library. Yeah, okay. So I just clicked on the section module settings, and then I'm gonna hit save and add to library. And I'm gonna call it page heading. And then I'm gonna save and add to the library. And so now we have a copy of this in the library that we can use on other pages. Now I'm going to go back up to your upcoming events, and I'm going to say add from library. And look, there it is. There's our page heading that we just created. And I move it into place, and then my guess is you want to call this upcoming events. I always spell upcoming wrong. And maybe like something like join us. And then let's preview. And voila, it's just like the other one. And I'll go ahead and update that page so that you can see it. And now anytime you're adding a new page and you want a header like that, you can just add that section from the library. It's a nice little time-saving things. All right, your final question is not on the screen anymore, but it's how do you add, I think, what was it, Jenny? It was how do you add blog posts and upcoming events? Or how do you add, no, how do you add sermons and blog posts? And do you want to know how you add them to the home page, or how do you create them in the first place, or both? I could just show you both. Okay. So let's close some of this that we're not looking at. Okay. If you want to add a sermon or a blog post, you can just hit new post, so this plus and then new post up here. And I'm going to skip right down to, oh, you don't have any of the standard categories. Did you upgrade? You must have upgraded. In my opinion, does the header have too much space? It's not too bad. Especially since you have the side menu. Okay, so you want to add sermons. Okay. So, put the title of the sermon. You can put a description of the sermon if you want to. And then hit add media. Newsletters are in PDF. Okay. Once you hit add media, you can select an audio file if it's in audio. If it's a transcript in PDF, yeah, I'll tell you that secondly, Jenny. After we create this sample, it'll be easier for me to show you. How do you create the audio file? That'll be up for you guys to figure out. I can give you some advice about it. You basically, whether you have an audio file, a video file, or a transcript in either Word or PDF, any of those options, you'll just hit add media. And you'll use the add media feature, and then you can drag and drop the file into here. Let's see if I have an audio file handy on my desktop. Oh my gosh, I have like a million programs open. Oh. I do. Okay. I'm going to add this recording of my favorite lullaby. And then I added it to your media library, and then I hit insert into post. And there it is. There's the audio for it. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I didn't want to open that either. Okay, so there's a couple more things you should do that I want to tell you about. One is there's all these format options, and one of them, there's a format option for video and audio. They do display the video or the audio in a cool way, but I tend to like it the way it looks best if you just keep it on standard. Okay, and then secondly, you're going to want a category for all of your posts that are called sermons. And so I'm just going to add the category. I'm going to call it sermons. I'm going to add that category. So now we know that this post is a sermon post. And then, you know, if you have graphics that you're using for the sermon series, you could set that as a featured image. If you want to tag like the Bible verse or the subjects, the topical information in there, you could do that too. That might make it easier for people to find, although that's also optional. Okay, so let me publish this as a sample that we have to work with. By the way, you're going to use the exact same process for your PDF newsletters. But instead of embedding the audio file, you'll just embed the PDF using the add media function. Okay, so we've created this post, which is called sermon title because that's where you put the sermon title. And out of curiosity, where would you like to put it? How would you? So I'll show you two ways you can add it to your site that are useful. I'll show you how to add it through the menu, and I'll show you how to add it through a module. Okay, so typically we make a section here that's good for media. And so I'm going to edit your homepage, and I'll show you the blog module that you can use to basically put it in there. First, we need to add a new section, a standard section. And so if you're just going to have sermons and newsletters, then we'll give a column for each. And so I'm going to insert module. I'm going to choose the blog module, which is the fourth one. And then lo and behold, include category sermons, which we just created, is there. Later on, you'll create a category called news or newsletter, and then that would show up as well. Okay, and then you have some options. You can have it show up in full width, or you can have it show up in a grid. The grid kind of looks like Pinterest. I'll show you both so you can see what they look like. You probably don't want 10 posts on your homepage. You might want 3. So, and basically what it'll show is it's a news feed, just like in Facebook, it shows the newest posts. And then the older posts will get pushed back. And there's all these options. There's some that you're not going to want. The comment stuff, we don't really use comments. Pagination you can keep on. If you have more than 3 sermons, it'll basically say, look at the older ones. There'll be a link that people can use to click on the older ones. Okay. All right, and let me show you what this looks like. There it is. So this is what it looks like with the metadata. The author will probably want to take off. Let me take off the author. Especially since you just usually probably just have one person preaching at your church. Okay, let's look at it again. If you had a featured image, that featured image would show up as a small little image here too. You know, I'll show you what that looks like. So say you're using some kind of graphic to go along with your sermon series, and I'll just steal something from that you're already using. Just so that you can see the effect. Oh wait, not there though. I'd actually have to put it in the posts. Okay, so just not to confuse you too much, here's the post that we created. Oh man. I'm gonna turn comments off. Comments are not off by default on your site. And it's not gonna let me. Okay. Anyway, I was gonna add a featured image here so we can see what it looks like. This is on the post. We'll just use this as the featured image. Okay, I just updated the post. Now if I preview your home page where we put the blog module, you'll see that there's now a featured image with the sermon title. Okay. You don't have to use featured images if you don't want to. Okay. And finally, let me show you. So that's what the full width layout looks like. Let me show you what the grid layout looks like. It basically just puts it in a box. If you have more than one, or if you had a full section just for sermons, it would actually make them. It would put them up into 3 columns in a box. At this bigger size, it's probably best just to use the full width. But you can experiment with that and see which one you like. And then here, you can do the same thing, except you can choose the newsletter category instead of the sermon category. And then you'll have a section with your different posts on it. Okay. So that's how you can add it to any page, really. You can use that blog module. Let me show you how to add it to your menu. Okay, so I'm going to hit your menu link here so we can go to your menu settings. And here's your main menu. And say we want to add a link that's for all of your posts that are sermons. And so sermons is a category. So we want to add a category link, and we'll see our choices here. We can see the sermons choice. And so I'm going to add the sermons category to the menu, and it puts it here. Let's put it right there on the menu. And then I hit save menu. And let's take a look at your site. Oh, don't reload. Let me update first. Now you have a link with sermons. And when people click on that link, what they're going to do is they're going to get a feed those posts. So if you had 10 posts, there'd be a feed for whatever the last 10 posts were. And then underneath that, there'd be pagination for people to find older posts. And then you can do newsletters the exact same way. You can just add a category link to the menu for newsletters. Is that helpful? All right, we have 13 minutes left. There's time for another question. Unless you're questioned out for the day. Oh, you know what? There is something that I want to do. So it'd be nice if it actually showed the player so that they didn't have to click through to hear the sermon if they didn't want to. And I think there's a way to do that. Yes. Okay. Show content. Let me do that here too. Show content. This is even better. You'll like this. Ta-da! Now there's actually the player so that they can just play it right from your homepage. Cool. Yeah, I went ahead and saved that change, so you should have you'll have both the link for the category link, and you'll have both the blog module set up, and you can just change the category on the second blog module when you want to put it in your newsletters. Your site is looking really good. Also, Ginny, within the next week, the media site is going to be getting a lot of new images, 86 of them, in fact. I put one of them in, but there's going to be 86. There's going to be 85 more. And so if you're looking for cool images that are kind of ministry related, you'll be able to do so. Great. It's nice as usual, and come back any other week, okay? Bye. Oh, Christopher Gordon was on. Christopher, did you have any questions you wanted to ask? I just now noticed you. There's a chat window, Christopher, that you can chat in via text. Yeah, no problem, Jen. Your site looks great, by the way. You're doing a good job. Yeah, me too. I'll show you what they look like. They're pretty good quality. Site. Into some of the images. They're really good. Christopher, I'll give you another minute to see if you have a question. Or if there's anything in particular you'd like to know about. And then, Christopher, you can always come back next week too. Great. Well, I hope you learned something while you were following along. And like I said, if you need more help, you can come back next week and with any question you might have. Okay, well, thanks both of you. It's been great. Have a good day and a good week. Bye.